Hey guys, Anodic once again, and I wanted to talk a little bit about hammer on Catalyst and PvP. As it stands right now, I don't think it's really the best weapon you could be taking on Catalyst. And I did talk about that a little bit in my previous video I uploaded today, but I want to talk a little bit more about it. So as it stands, the damage on hammer is just not that good. Like, that has such a long cooldown. These things have such a long cooldown. I don't think their damage is really all that worth the effort of using. And then you have like air, where you can't really land your abilities in a team fight because people are moving around a lot, right? And when it comes to air, you have this skill, the Hurricane of Pain, which has a pretty long cast time unless you were using the quickness from your F5. That has a whole 3-second cast time. That is more than enough time for people to just like dodge out of it or run out of it, whatever. And then when it comes to like your sustain on this build, you can't really sustain on it unless you're using this as a combo field. But the problem is that you can't really use it as a combo field from already being in water. I put it down here, use that, but then I try to go fire to use the other one, but it changes to fire, so then you lose out on the ability to blast that again or leap in it again. Overall, just makes water as an attunement on hammer just not that good at all. Now, Lightning 4, this is great as a disengage. Works out very well. And I like that. But these other kits don't really have much disengage when it comes to like water and earth, which are your melee forms of this weapon set. Like you have this little immobilize. People can dodge that easily though, because it has a pretty big wind up. And then you have this 3 on every single skill that is the same. It's cool that you have this, right? But it also sort of feels like it uses up design space for what possible like things you could have on these skills that help you survive in fights. Like a lot of times, like for example, you have your 3 skill on Revenant Hammer, which is that whole you leap in the air while evading attacks. That's a good defensive. You have on where you have your little mobilize. Not mobilize. You have your cripple on warrior. You have your bludgeon guardian. Trapper, you have a whole like gap closer. But on Elementalist Hammer, I think the only gap closers you have on this are water 4 and then an air 4. Anything else, you don't really have much out of defense. And speaking of defense, like you have this block against like even against that NPC that has that multi-hit attack. This is pretty much useless. Like they proc it, you get the aura, cool, but like if you're in earth, you get reflect. But that's not really useful if you're not fighting someone that has reflex at the time. And if you're in like water or fire, you're not really getting much value out of it. And air is probably the strongest aura when what you can do in PvP with it. You just stun them when they hit you. It makes it so hard for me to do anything about it. So I think that overall, to make hammer a better weapon for Catalyst and PvP, it has to like do more damage. Maybe make this have like a slightly bigger attack range, because that's like way smaller than a point. And this is kind of hard to land because like it's a projectile that's slow, and then like it has a whole cast time too when it hits the ground finally. your defensives on 4 used to be better. Like this needs to actually be a regular block, because just taking one hit is not enough in PvP. Like you get hit by multiple things so many times, that it just makes it hard to get value out of this. And then it just needs more damage in general. So if you do all that and up his sustain a bit, maybe change this mechanic to where, first of all, you don't need to like charge it up to use it, and to second of all, make it so like the field maybe lingers a little bit before you like when you switch it, so it's not just changing immediately, so you can still get value out of your old field. That would be nice too. But really, hammer comes off more as a PvE weapon than a PvP weapon in the current state it is in. And I think if it needs to be, if it can be viable in PvP at all, it just needs to change. Make it more of a thing that you can use to survive stuff, and maybe kill stuff too in team fights if respect for it. Even when I went Andy with hammer, and maybe I was just built wrong with it, still feel like the conditions were not that good apart from fire, because fire is pretty much all you have. Fire is the strongest condition in terms of damage. It's flat out. That's pretty much all I have to say about the topic. Like, it just needs some tuning up, and then from then it could be a lot better. Yeah, I missed that. Oh well. But yeah, so that's all I have to say. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this could use as changes? I think it definitely could use all the ones I listed. Maybe not all of them, but maybe some of them. Some of them would certainly be good, like just sustain or just more damage on this thing in general. Is that this thing hitting you for like 4.5k at max? Maul does that much, and it's just like instant cat. Definitely think just a few more things to use from change. Yeah, leave your comments on what you think could be better in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm looking forward to reading the discussions.